Let's shift a little bit globally before we finally start talking about some game previews. Folks had a lot of feelings about this one, Lisa. So we're just going to present it as how it was presented to us. But the nominees for the 2022 Women's Ballon d'Or dropped. And let's just run down the complete list here for everybody. Selma Bach of France and out of Lyon. Love what we've seen out of that player. Was really hyped to sort of see her name on this list, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Atiana Botmanti, Spain, FC Barcelona. Millie Bright, England, representing Chelsea. Lucy Bronze, England, Manchester City, and FC Barcelona. Kieratu Diani, France and PSG. Christiane Endler, Chile, Lyon. Ada Hederberg, Marie Antoinette Katoto, Sam Kerr, representing Australia and Chelsea. Katerina Macario, representing USWNT and Lyon. Beth Mead, England and Arsenal. Vivian Miedema, Holland and Arsenal. Alex Morgan, another USWNT player. This category, she's qualified for both her time with the Pride and San Diego Wave. Lena Oberdorf, Germany and Wolfsburg. Asia Al-Shashala, Nigeria, FC Barcelona. Alexandra Pop, Wolfsburg, Germany. Alexia Putellas, Spain, FC Barcelona. Wendy Renard, France and Lyon. Trinity Rodman, USA and Washington Spirit. And Fridolina Rolfo, Sweden and FC Barcelona. Lisa, thoughts? Do you have a take? Is it a hot one or a cold one? These types of lists sort of bring out opinions from everybody. I guess that's one of the purposes that they serve. But reigning winner, I remember this time last year when the news dropped and folks were sort of targeting like who could be the winner of this one, and we know that Alexia Putellas has had an incredible run and earned the honors in that one. Is there anyone sticking out on this list for you?
I mean, of these 20 names, they're incredible talent, and we are maybe for some fans that are listening to this or people tuning in live that didn't know a lot of these names, say even 6 months ago, but you watched the Euros and now you recognize a lot of them. This is a great way to kind of find some great players on great teams and keep an eye out for them. I was a little shocked that Trinity Rodman made this list. 3 U.S. internationals in Katerina Macario, Alex Morgan, and then Trinity Rodman. So Morgan and Rodman both in the NWSL. I was a little shocked that Rodman was named to this one. She was Rookie of the Year in the NWSL with Washington Spirit. She won the championship. So when you look at on paper the accolades that Rodman has done, it makes a little bit more sense. However, stacked up against some of these other players, I just don't think Rodman's going to win it. But to be nominated is such a huge honor. It is such a huge honor. It gives a lot of recognition to these names, gives them a lot of notoriety. It definitely makes them a little bit more popular in their current teams and the seasons that they're either currently in or about to start with. But that was probably the biggest shock to me, but excited to see that young name on there, 20-year-old Rodman. There's 2 20-year-olds. Rodman is the second youngest on this 20-player list. But October 17th in Paris is when the winner will be named and crowned. For you, Sandra, any names really like jump out at you as like, yes, you're going to win this, or why are you on this list? What's happening here?
Well, I was really hyped to see Katerina Macario on there. I was like, yes, this is awesome. Love to see that.
Well deserved.
Love to see that for one of the young players who also represent U.S. Women's National Team. But I was like, oh, as thrilled as I was to see somebody like Trinity Rodman on this list, there was a part of me where I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know if like that's maybe like a real long shot here, right? In terms of some of the other names that are across this final list. But I also am like, well, if you're looking at a certain window of work in order to be, considered, nominated for this type of list, like you look at Alex Morgan, for example, and they're including an extensive body of work with the Pride and San Diego, because I think it goes from like August to June or so, the window of the body and window of work in which they look at. So I think if you look at somebody like Rodman, who had an incredible rookie season, went all the way to the championship final, became, an NWSL championship in her rookie year, earned Rookie of the Year honors, had set had set some records in place, right, during a rookie season. And finally started to get some looks at the senior women's national team. But I do wonder, looking across maybe some other performances around there, like I was a little, if we're looking at profiles of work, I was a little surprised to maybe see Rodman over a Sophia Smith in this type of list. If you're looking at, if the concept was like, who's the next like young, exciting, like kind of USWNT / NWSL player, really kind of making a name for themselves, and it's absolutely, I think, without a hitch, like Sophia Smith. She's having like an MVP caliber type of year. So I was a little bit surprised in that, in terms of like kind of maybe looking at differences in performances. But I think this is a very strong list, no matter what. I think any of these players in their own respective position have kind of dominated some things here. But I think when we're looking at maybe front runners, I'll say for me, Bach is up there. I loved watching them during the Champions League. I would love to see her steal some votes, but I don't know. There's politics, I'm sure, that are involved in votes like this. But front runners for me would be her. Sam Kerr would be up there as well. I would include Katerina Macario in that. I thought she was very impressive off of the year that she had. And you absolutely have to have England representing in this sort of mix. So in terms of like top 4 or top 5, I think you also maybe put in somebody like Beth Mead, quite frankly, or somebody like a Millie Bright, perhaps. But
yeah.
See, we're not the ones who vote for this stuff. We just read them off and sort of talk about the players and who are on there.
We're just here to give our opinions. We don't get to vote in this.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you mentioned the Trinity Rodman versus Sophia Smith. And yeah, I agree. I would have been less shocked to see Sophia Smith's name on there versus a player like Trinity Rodman. But the interesting thing about the Ballon d'Or is it goes from August to July. That's why a player like
Thank you.
Alex Morgan is being recognized for her time at Orlando Pride and also San Diego Wave. And that's why Trinity Rodman is being recognized for the 2021, the end of the 2021 season in the NWSL, where she won Rookie of the Year. She won the NWSL championship. She got call-ups to the national team. And if you look back to August to the October when the NWSL season ended, even August to the end of the year in December, with what Rodman was doing with her club and with country, getting call-ups for Vlatko Andonovski and the U.S. Women's International team through July of this year, because that's how the calendar goes. It makes a little bit more sense, but that's also why a player perhaps like Katerina Macario was most definitely listed on this and give it a nomination for her time with Lyon last year and last season, what she was able to do. Truly fantastic with Lyon, and then suffering a bit of an injury. So I know that some questions have been thrown out there. I thought this player was injured. I thought this happened. Yes, this season goes from August to July. It's not a calendar year, so it gets a little bit of overlap for everything. So wanted to clarify that for everyone.
We'll see how it shakes out. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. And I'm obviously, when the winner is announced, we'll, come through here and celebrate that as well.